You ever wake up thinking it's just going to be another Tuesday? Nothing wild. Maybe get a little work done, sip your coffee, check the weather? Then, 15 minutes later, you're standing in your driveway, bathrobe half-tied, coffee cooling in your hand, and there's a woman screaming at you about divine compensation, demanding the keys to your car like the Almighty himself sent her. Yeah, that happened. It wasn't even 7:30 in the morning, and my day was already circling the drain. The voice, sharp, insistent, enough to wake every half-retired neighbor on the block, belonged to Amy Monroe. Clipboard, binder, the kind of focus that could bend steel. She's the type you avoid at block parties, you know what I mean? To most folks, I was just another quiet contractor, kept to myself, friendly wave, never drew attention. That was the whole point. Thing is, what nobody knew. I'd been placed there undercover by the Department of the Interior, working a fraud case that had gone cold years ago, all tied up with Amy's mother, Patricia Monroe. 200 grand gone from federal contractor accounts. Then poof, Patricia staged her own death. No funeral, no records, just a couple of rumors and a ghost that didn't even haunt right. Amy, on the surface, was just a daughter left with insurance money and a load of grief. But then she fixated on my SUV like it had been dropped straight from heaven. She stood in the driveway, finger pointed, voice rising. That's Mama's blood debt. Like I owed her for the sins of the mother. The Lord sent it to me, she said, eyes wild. The kind of faith that's bulletproof and just as dangerous. I tried to play it calm. Ma'am, this is a government vehicle. You can't just claim it like a door prize at a raffle. She didn't like that. Not one bit. Then I'm calling 911. And she did, right there, with half the neighborhood peeking through their curtains, pretending to check the weather. Yes, hello, he's refusing to surrender the divine compensation vehicle. I dealt with my share of frauds and grifters. People who could sell ice to Eskimos and ketchup popsicles to folks in white gloves. But this was a different animal. Amy wasn't running a scam. She believed every word she said. While Amy was dialing up the celestial dispatcher, I spotted Tom across the street. Tom was a federal contractor turned blogger, smart, nosy, lived to expose fraud on his live streams. He had a knack for spotting government vehicles, even ones that weren't supposed to look like government vehicles. He'd been watching me for days, phone out, eyes tracking every move. Next door, Eleanor, the real neighborhood institution, retired after 25 years with the department. She didn't say much, but she always seemed to know when something was about to hit the fan. Every time Amy got loud, Eleanor just happened to step outside, watering her garden, always a little closer to my driveway. The kind of backup you only recognize if you've been in the game long enough. 10 minutes later, Officer Ryan Patel rolled up. Young, reserve badge, always treated every call like it was a federal audition. Ma'am, HOAs don't have authority to confiscate private vehicles, he told her, voice straight out of a textbook. Amy stared at him like he'd blasphemed. I'm the elected HOA president, she snapped, waving forged paperwork like they were holy writ. I have emergency powers. Patel shot me a look. Half, is this for real? And half, please don't make me write this up. Thing was, Amy had gone deep, built a binder, laminated printouts of HOA laws, forged signatures that looked like she'd watched too many crime shows, even diagrams of the crash site where she believed her mother died. She turned grief into gospel, her trauma mapped out in color-coded tabs and duct-taped legalese. She'd invented her own legal universe and then tried to enforce it like she had a badge. It all blew up on a Thursday. 3:17 a.m., security cameras caught Amy sneaking up to my SUV, dressed in black from head to toe like some kind of suburban ninja. She had a can of red spray paint. This is for you, Mama, she whispered, and started scrawling across the hood. Big, sloppy letters. H. President Amy, blood justice. Not just vandalism. This was felony-level destruction of federal property, and I caught every second, every angle, audio so clear you could hear her shaky breath. While Amy was out there performing her midnight ritual, Tom's blog was blowing up, 60,000 followers now. He'd started digging, real digging, and what he found stopped him cold. Turns out, Patricia Monroe, Amy's supposedly dead mother, was alive and well, running a retirement business in Mexico under a new name, Patricia Vega. Website, testimonials, smiling headshots, early bird deals for retirees who wanted to leave it all behind. Not a single death record, no benefit claims, nothing. Patricia hadn't died. She'd just slipped out the back door, slick as oil. Tom hit a wall. Should he tell Amy, blow her whole world up, or let her keep spiraling? He didn't have to decide for long. The next morning, Amy showed up in her mother's old funeral dress, binder clutched tight, eyes red, ready for what she called her final divine seizure ceremony. Tom had scheduled a live stream. Over 9,000 people tuned in to see if HOA President Amy would finally lose it on camera. She didn't disappoint. She raised a crowbar, stood right in front of my SUV, and screamed, "By the power vested in me by this community and Almighty God, I reclaim this vehicle as holy compensation." That was my cue. I stepped out, jacket zipped, reached into my pocket, and pulled my badge. "My name is Chief Randall Price, Department of the Interior. 6 months ago, you were flagged in a fraud investigation related to your mother. You just vandalized federal property on a live stream." The chat exploded. You could hear the gasps through the screen. Amy's crowbar hit the pavement with a clatter. Tom went live with the real kicker, shared his screen, showed Patricia's new website, smiling headshot, "Reinvent your retirement," in bright letters, daily updates from some beach in Mexico. Amy stared, frozen, like she'd seen a ghost. Then, as if on cue, Maria Davis stepped forward. The HOA treasurer, quiet, sharp, always kept the books. She looked into the camera, voice steady as a judge. "Amy, your mother manipulated me. She forged documents to steal $15,000 from our emergency fund. I never told anyone until now." That was it. Amy sat right down in the driveway, funeral dress and all, binder sliding into her lap, staring at the live stream where her supposedly dead mother was now pitching beachfront condos. I touched her casket. She whispered, broken, lost, maybe finally awake. The arrest happened minutes later. Officer Patel handled it by the book, evidence bags, Miranda rights, everything on record. Amy was charged with federal property destruction, impersonating government authority, attempted fraud. Her live stream breakdown became required viewing for new federal agents. How psychological manipulation and neighborhood power can spiral into madness. 18 months rolled by. Amy served her time. Patricia, now the infamous retirement guru, got herself arrested during a seminar called "Leaving Your Past Behind." You can't make this stuff up. The restitution went toward building a truth and transparency memorial garden, right where Amy used to tape up her fake HOA orders. The SUV she vandalized still sits in the same spot, now with a license plate that reads Community Protection Unit. Tom. He turned his blog into a nonprofit, whistleblower support, and all. Maria speaks at financial accountability conferences. Eleanor. She runs workshops on protecting federal employees from harassment. And me? Still on that porch, same coffee mug, SUV parked just so. Only now, the air's quieter, lighter. Until last week. Another neighborhood, another self-proclaimed HOA president banging on my door, claiming divine right over a parked car. I got the call. Guess some lessons just don't stick. But let me ask you, if someone showed up in your driveway, said God gave them the right to your car, what would you do? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your own HOA horror story. And hey, if this one hit home, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. I read every comment. You know I do.